Bulavanaka Malulale Talofa Lava. Welcome to the DnM podcast. My name's Mr. T. I'm joined here with Hayden.
Good afternoon.
And Matty Cole.
Hello there.
We're streaming live to you from the Cole residence here in the beautiful Hamilton East. 24 degrees Celsius outside. Good to be inside with the aircon and the dog at your feet. Welcome to episode 7 with Deep and Meaningful. Massive fan base out there. Good to have you along, listening to you. Thanks for the fan mail. Really appreciate that, and the emails and the texts. Really appreciate the following. This episode is brought to you by Wendy's Wax and Shine. New branches opening up in Chartwell and Tarapa. You wax it, she'll shine it. 2-for-1 deal on back, crack and sack this week. Bring a friend. Stay till the end. Today this episode is pretty deep and meaningful as always. Starting off with a bit of a story, if that's okay with you guys.
That's how most of our topics start off, actually. Story.
So I was in the a few weeks ago in the relations garage. I opened up the garage, and I opened it up, and they're definitely a hoarder. There's stuff everywhere. There's stuff in there that works. There's stuff in there that doesn't work. There's dust. There's things that are going to be called on for the future, but not right now. There's things that we don't even know. They're in there somewhere. We don't even know exactly where they are. And I sat in there and I looked at this person's hoarding garage, and I thought, this garage reminds me of the only thing in the human body that we cannot fix physically, which is our heart. Not the physical heart, but the emotional heart. Do we hoard stuff in our heart? Do we have a hoarding heart? Do we hold on to things we don't actually need to hold on? Do we need to clean out now and then? Because let's be honest, a hoarding heart is not a heart that is functional.
Can we say a hoarding heart's not a healthy heart?
That's probably even.
I'm out. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
And he's finished on top. Can I just say something?
Yeah, jump in.
You're taking the piss out of my garage just close.
I said a family member's garage. It's actually my parents' garage, but I don't want to mention my parents in case they start listening to this. But
brilliant.
Yeah.
So for the record, it's not my garage.
Definitely not.
Yeah, perfect. So on that note, I would agree with that sentiment. A hoarding heart is not a healthy heart. For two reasons, some things you just got to let go in life. Move on. Some things you don't need to carry anymore, and I guess you keep a lot of that useless stuff for the previous memory that it held, or the part of the heart that it took up. And there's always a place in my heart for my first glue-on pasta picture, just quietly. That's the first thing I ever made. I'm pretty sure my mum was stoked with it, and it sat on the fridge for a very long time.
Here's a question I'm going to throw out there. What's at the back of your hoarding heart garage, right down the back, that you probably forgot was there? You may have to get rid of it, or you're holding on to it.
I've got one.
Yeah. What have you got?
It has a story.
Mm-hmm.
It's it can seem a little bit insignificant or small, but it is big for me. In year 6, I had a teacher, Mr. Channer. Shout out to Mr. Channer, good man. But I had a crush on a girl. Melissa was her name, and I remember in my infinite wisdom as a 10 or 11 year old that I thought the way to show affection or something was to sit on the mat but then slowly shuffle towards her. I don't know why I thought that. I did that. Yeah, it was creepy.
Creepy but effective.
Creepy.
And worked?
Well, no, what happened was while Mr. Chen was reading a book, I did this. To what end, I don't know, but I did get fairly close, and she just bolted up to Mr. Chen and said, Mr. Chen, Matthew's doing this, and he's like, oh, maybe he likes you. And that killed me, man. That sent me back about 5 years of emotional development, I think, in terms of talking to women. So I probably held on to that a little bit, and I think that always made me a little bit more timid and not putting myself out there as emotionally for women. So that would probably be in my Hardy garage.
The fact that it's still a memory, is it still in there? It's still in the garage?
To a point, yeah.
Still there,
I
sitting
don't
on
think
the shelf,
I don't-
getting dust.
Yeah, I don't give it too much credit.
Yeah.
But it is. I still remember it. It's still in there. And I think it, especially through my high school days, I think it played on my mind and my heart.
So do you think that memory sitting there on the shelf is worth keeping?
No, not at
Is it sometimes fear is a good teacher? Sometimes.
Oh yeah. No, it was, and actually, currently it doesn't really play on me. I remember it so much because I think it affected me so much later on in life, like through high school. But now it doesn't really bother me, and like I'm more open and things. But I learnt from that, whatever you could learn from that, and it doesn't bother me too much now. But I did have it in my heart for a while, I think.
Can I pose this question to both of you? At what point does the hoarding affect or stop affecting you? Like, so is there an acceptable level of hoarding?
I'd say as long as it doesn't negatively affect you or stop you from doing things that make you happy. Because like I'm always one for meaning of life happiness. So if you're hoarding and you're holding on to things stops you from being yourself or being happy, then yeah, I'd say it's too much. But maybe to a point, it's okay to hold on to some stuff for sentimental sake or learn from mistakes' sake. But too much is probably a bad thing. Too long is too bad.
I'm gonna put it out there. I think you need the rubbish bin of new beginnings, and it needs to sit outside the garage, and you need to throw shit away, because that's the problem with people. They hold on to too much stuff. Let's think about it in a common sense point of view. The stuff in your garage you're going to use. It's practical. Okay? You're holding on to fear, you're holding on to doubt, you're holding on to loneliness. That shit's got to go, but people don't let it go. They hoard it.
Why is that doing?
I don't know. That's the problem with society. They hold on because it's comfortable, because they're afraid when you throw something out, you won't see it again.
Or then they don't have anything there and they're afraid to fill it up with new things. Whereas they can always hold on to,
Is this their path of least resistance, though? You know, like you're saying. So, and on the one hand, they're fearful of having to throw that out and then refill the garage, and then also fearful of what potentially is going to go back in that garage. Do you think? So, like, if you have something that, in the case of, I don't know what did you say the girl's name? Melissa. So in the case of Melissa, where you try to get close to her, okay, and you put it behind you. Do you then go and attempt that again, and essentially putting it back in the garage, or do you think no, I'm going to try and
you've been shuffling closer to a woman on a seat?
Yeah, or maybe you're going to send a dick pic instead this time. Because the last
Thank God that wasn't around back in my day.
Yeah, you think you would have been loose with the dick pics?
Well, no, camera phones weren't what they were, so it would have been a very blurry image. And
Crayon pic.
To be fair, that was the beauty of technology.
An outline, yeah. Sorry, pose your question again. I didn't quite.
So, do you think if you had the rubbish bin of new beginnings and you're going to throw some stuff out, do you think people so if you're fearful of having to throw it out in the first place, and then you eventually get round to it, are you then fearful of having to go back and make that or collect that same thing to put back in that garage again?
Once it's been like dusted off or dealt with in a way.
Basically,
recycled.
So you've bought your Tamagotchi version 1 and you've clocked it and you've kept it, and then a new one's come out and you realise it was a bad idea at the time, I wasted so much time, but you've thrown the old one out, or it no longer works, and you've gone and got another one.
Yeah, like if I think about my example, like I say, through intermediate high school, I think it did play on me a bit, but then now, all those years later, it doesn't have the same effect, but I can still remember it. So in a sense, I have, I guess, recycled or cleaned it, and I use it just now as a funny story and an anecdote.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother me, and it's not going to stop me from trying to give out my number to someone at a Pinnacles hut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you meet someone new and you're talking about, they try and impress them, and you bring up the story of your ex-girlfriend, that's hoarding. We've got to get rid of that memory. We've got to go, because that'll ruin it. Hoarding will ruin your future. It'll ruin it.
I think it can be hard sometimes, though, because if I think about myself, I was in a relationship with someone for 5 years. It's a long time, and I can't necessarily ignore that 5 years. But yeah, I'm not going to bring it up on the first date. It was part of my life, and it happened. But yeah, there's some fine line which is hard to distinguish between holding it on, but acknowledging it happened. And
golden rule, though, is it going to be useful? Is it working? If it's working, whatever you're storing in your garage, if it's working, keep it in there. Okay. If it's not working, you gotta chuck it out.
Yeah, I agree with you there, man. But like in my own scenario, so I was at a class camp Opatama. Anyone who's been down there, or Opatama, I should say. And we had a disco night, and it's I crafted that letter specially, like put it in all beautiful colours, and said, "Lauren, will you dance with me at the final camp dance?" And she's like, "Yep." She wrote it back, but she wrote it back in brown. She sent me a message just saying, "This is just straight up dance." I remember that for the rest of my life.
Oh, wait, she wrote back and said, "This is just a dance."
She just wrote back in brown felt.
What's the significance of the brown?
Because I went to all that preparation to make it nice and pretty,
And she just
she just went, "Well, I'm down for a dance."
That's actually a bit insulting. She didn't even choose black. She went for brown. That's rough, man.
Wow.
Did you still dance with her?
Yeah, for sure. I was like, I'm not going to turn
Count
that
it.
down. Yeah, it's the hottest queue in Stand Full. I'll take that every day of the week. But that kind of like in future, I was like, well, that's the worst it's going to get. Like she's going to either say no or write back in brown felt. So I was like, well, if that's the way it's going to be, I'm just going to chance my arm every chance I get. And I've hoarded that for a long time, not because of that it served me any real meaning or like insight into anything, but it was kind of like my first step of putting myself out there, and then almost getting nothing back, basically. Because when we danced, we talked about, I was like, "Did you like the lens?" She's like, "Yeah, it was really pretty."
Oh, cool.
And then she made a point of saying, "I wrote it back in brown because I just wanted you to know that this was a dance." So I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, honesty, I appreciate that.
You need to move that bin a little bit closer.
Throw it out. You reckon?
Maybe stand in the bin while you're throwing that one
You need
out.
a wheelie bin.
Yeah,
or a
wheelie
skip.
bin
You
for a
need
skip.
What?
The skip of the soul. Just throw.
I am a little bit lost in this analogy because I feel like you're trying to tell Hayden to clean his garage, but also there's
I'm
something-
telling people that that's the thing. The reason I brought up it's really hard. Why the danger of hoarding is there's stuff in there, and there's no room for the stuff that actually works. And when you hoard too much, you get these new experiences in life, and you say, no, I can't let that in. There's no room.
that's
But
good.
that's what I'm trying to say. There's dangers in hoarding. Hoarding does not have a good a good reputation. So if you got a heart that's hoarding of stuff that you're not going to use, why are you holding on to it? And the thing is, it's really hard to let go. It's hard to let go of that brown felt. It's really hard to let go of it. But the reason we sit here on this DnM podcast is to help throw that stuff out. And once you do, you make room for other things. You open for new things to come into that garage of love.
So if we continue the analogy,
Yes.
Garage of the
what do
heart,
you-
I think we want to say.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. T, what do you reckon we could do? What could the people do then to empty their garage and move on? And are there steps or things, or how do they think to then move on? What can they
Yeah,
do?
well, any classic hoarding program on TV, you can't do it by yourself. That's golden rule number one, because you always look at something, think about something, go, no, I need that. You need someone in your life to help you go through it all. And it has to be someone who is not insensitive to go,
Throw it out.
chuck that out, Chuck. Because, I might see a little colourful letter with a brown felt, and it looks like a piece of trash to me, but for someone, it's, it's something. So you can't be by yourself. There's your first step. You need someone to help you declutter. The second thing is it takes time. And the less effort you put into it, the longer it's going to hang around. So that's why I'm bringing it up, is we need to do it. And like any good spring clean, it's universally beneficial. But some people don't want to go there. That's why I'm bringing it up. They just don't want to go there. It's too easy. Too easy to shut the door and just let the dust settle.
And when you talk about throwing things out, do you mean like in a sense forgiving yourself or letting things go, and like in talking to someone, finding it's okay to forgive yourself for making mistakes or past things?
Yeah. Definitely the throwing things out is a mental thing, not a physical thing. So it's when people say, oh, I don't do that. Come for a swim. Oh, I don't like the ocean. it's because you've put this block up. You hang on to something. Something's happened to you, and you're missing out on this great experience. You're not letting things in. So it's definitely not a physical thing. Just throwing out. The easiest thing, I think everyone hoards. I think the easiest thing is to hang on to stuff, but
not necessarily the best.
Not necessarily the best. Some things are good. There's the fight or flight, theory. As if you're fearful of something, then if you're fearful of breaking your heart, if you're fearful of not trusting someone, you hang on to something to help you learn about that. But a lot of the time, we hang on to rubbish. That's what I'm saying. Ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, ex-this, parents, grandparents. The way my teacher did this. If you want to move on, if you want to fit more things in your garage, you got to get rid of some stuff, and you need someone there to help you.
If I can speak from my own personal experience, having just gone through a breakup, I found that the process of actually physically removing things from, like her things from our house, and then also the final financial separation, while that was a very practical, intangible thing, as in furniture and clothes and things, I also found it quite an emotional thing too, because the things that were around the house that we jointly owned at the time that reminded me of her were then finally gone, and I found that actually helped me, I think, empty my heart. So while it can't always be physical, I think maybe a symbolic thing could help. If you're struggling to empty your heart garage, or your, what are we calling it now? Yeah, heart garage, that maybe you do some kind of symbolic thing, burning of a picture. Not that I encourage things like that, but something symbolic to then help you emotionally empty out. What do you reckon, Aiden?
Yeah, I think it's all about small steps, like you're talking about. So, and definitely support in my current relationship, I have a physical hoarder. Hoards everything under the sun to do with like receipts, paper bags, plastic bags, boxes, like packaging, basically. And what I tend to do with her is I just, on the sly, just get rid of some stuff, And I know it's a bit different for the heart.
Does she listen to this podcast?
Garage of the Heart.
No.
Probably the best she doesn't.
She definitely does not yet. For two reasons: she doesn't support anything I do, and the other reason. Just kidding.
We'll edit that part.
Just kidding. That's a lie.
Crikey.
She only supports the stuff that she.
That
likes me
was
supporting.
back deep in the garage. That one
was right back in the garage. Where'd that come from?
That was like in the shed.
Where's that bin?
The deep freezer.
The hard shed.
Oh, I found it. It was in the garage garden, the one out the back that no one goes into.
Double garage.
Yeah, where was I? You're throwing some stuff out. So yeah, that's it. Like helping out. Like, how can someone who first of all, you have to ask for the help, right? So it's not like I could come around and help you clean out your heart garage. Like just off the bat, just turn up one day. I could come around and
or can
hang with you.
I reckon you could. If you turn up with a box of beer and didn't fret, you're not going to come out and say, "Hey, let's clean it out." But if you just sat down and said, "Hey, how's it going?"
That's true, I guess.
If I turned up to Maddie's garage, physical garage, and said to him, as a trusted friend, "What a mess, mate," and he goes, "I haven't got round to it." I said, "I'll see you on Saturday with a bin and we'll do it." And he goes, "Oh no, don't worry." I said, "No, I'm there." I think why can't you with someone's soul?
Yeah, good point. I guess you can then. But I was just wondering, not when we're talking about the classic hoarding reality TV show, they're not always ready to do it. You know what I'm saying? It kind of runs over a series of days and weeks until they reach the point where they're like you say, we'll come over and we'll bring a box of beer. We'll come Saturday.
I think you're right to a point, and you can't force someone to do it if they're not ready. You can't. If anything, they're going to offer more resistance and hold on to their stuff more.
Yeah.
But they have to have that inkling of starting to want to do it. Then you can come in and just help them through it. But yeah, you're probably right to a point that you can't force it necessarily if they don't want to do it.
You got to bring it up. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I'm just saying, at the point where you don't want to be pushy and say, because then at that stage when you are forcing them and they've got resistance, are you then are you the problem that creates the, the stronger bond with that stuff that they're trying to let go of? I don't know.
I don't think you can always expect someone to ask for help too. As someone, I personally don't ask for help for anything, and I'd rather just strangle myself because I hate asking for help.
Yeah.
So we can't always expect someone to ask for help, but
Yeah.
at least you can, I suppose, offer. It's probably the best thing if you feel that you can help.
Yeah, I just would hate to overstep my mark. That would be the thing if I was coming around, because who am I to judge and say that
Fair enough. Yeah. Your
that
hat
20
goes.
kg colourful picture note of hoarding that you've got, you need to get rid of that. But I'm all for being there and going, yeah, bro, I'll help you out. And you show me where the bin is and you tell me what to throw out and I'll help you throw it out.
But it's quite obvious if you go into a physical hoarding space, it's not safe. It's not healthy. It's not clean. And that person can't see that. And it's like a relationship that is not healthy and not clean and an absolute mess. People can't see it. They just live.
When you're in it, you can't see it.
When you're in it, you can't see it. So if you see someone's life that is a mess, literal mess, they can't see it. Why not step in?
Yeah.
If that, and that's what I'm saying. No one does it. Everyone just adds to it. And when you feel sorry for someone, you give them a bunch of flowers. They're just going to add it into their garage. They're just going to say, "Oh, thanks." Boom,
Yep.
hoard that. Here's some beer. People hoard alcohol and drugs, and people hoard it. They hoard it and hoard it and hoard it in terms of they put it away and put it away.
Doesn't actually solve the
No.
problem.
Yeah, I guess it's that thing of where you can't see the forest through the trees kind of thing.
Yep.
So like you're saying, they're living in it. I guess, in that case, then we've got wouldn't say an obligation, but we have an opportunity to say, this is the way that we see it. How do you see it? And maybe just start the discussion.
Oh,
Get it out there.
brings it full circle. Good.
So, yeah, man, like, I got to admit, man, I'm not the most in tune with people's emotions, man, and I'm probably a little bit emotionally dense when it comes to trying to recognize how people are feeling. And, like, I can't read people very well at all. 100%, I'm very poor at that. And, like, I would hate to, try and do something for fear of, getting it wrong. If everything's okay, or just making it worse. Basically, I'd hate to come in there and go, I'm going to help you declutter your hoarding garage, and where can I start? And then just like, oh look, I'm not that keen, or why are you here?
I think you're right, man. It's real hard to initiate it, and it's like I just heard news of someone that I know that I used to work with that's had a stillborn baby, and that really upset me. Like, I'm quite an emotional person, and it's quite upsetting to hear that. But then it's like, what do I do? Like, do I go up and say, hey, pat on the shoulder, are you okay? Obviously, different to relationship, heart, garage, but that's obviously quite a big emotional thing. But I get what you mean, Hayden. It's really hard to, what do you do? How do you approach it? How do you start? Are you overstepping a boundary? How close friends are you? And I get it. It's really tricky.
I guess on the flip side of that, you'd hate to be the person that thought you noticed something and then did nothing.
I was just going to say, people who take their own lives have probably shut their garage door, bolted it shut, and no one knows what's in there.
Or the neighbourhood walks past.
Everything looks nice and shiny from the outside, but then that garage falls to pieces and that person's gone. No one knows what was in there.
Yeah,
We got to open our garages up and say, hey, what's this? Maybe it doesn't need a clean.
Yeah.
Maybe we just need to talk about it.
or it's like 3 months later and they find them, and it's it's the point of no return. They've gone too far, and someone's like, oh yeah, I did notice something, but you didn't say anything. So yeah, man, like I'd like to hope that I would do something. I know that I definitely find it hard to read people and know when to offer that hand, but always keen to help where I can.
I'd say maybe a middle ground between trying to help and knowing where the overstep your boundary is. If you have someone you feel needs a bit of emotional support, as in cleaning out their heart garage, that you just avail them the opportunity to do that. Like you say, hey, let's go for a coffee, let's go for a beer, and you might just say, hey, how's things? And then if they open up, obviously they are more open to you helping out. But if they just close up and they don't want a bar of it, and you prod and probe a little bit and they don't give you anything, then that's when you can go, okay, maybe they're not ready now. I'll just, be their friend, support them if I can, but then come back to it later. Maybe that would be the kind of safest middle ground of trying to help but not overstepping the mark.
Yeah, not enough people I don't know. Do people? I guess it comes down to like people aware of those emotions and how to approach those sort of situations. Like I wouldn't say I had a lot of experience in any of like the darkest side of life, but yeah, like you say, just knowing what to say at the right time. Some people have it, man. Some people just know and can say, you're right, or how you going, or they can seem to pick up on those things. And I think those people probably need to be appreciated a little bit more.
I think the physical garage, if you had to clean your garage out physically and you said, who can help me clean this garage out? There's going to be people that you're like, oh, no, I'm not going to ask them. There's going to be people that are always too busy, or there's going to be people that you're going to say, I can count on him. He'll come and do that. She'll come and do that. We need to do that emotionally. If you need something sorted, who are your cleaners? Mm-hmm. Because sometimes people have got no one. They go, oh, no, my dad can't, or my cousin can't, my neighbour won't. We end up putting up, we've got no one to help, and that's why people end up in a bit of a rut, because they have no one to help them clean. There's no one in their lives, and that's why they just go, oh, no, I'll be all right, and they just,
close the garage door.
Close it again. There's no one there to help them clean it out.
Yeah, and I guess it's at that stage too, it's a bit of ownership on each side, I guess, because then that person should also ask, not be afraid to ask and go, hey, can I get a hand with my garage? I've got all the stuff stacked up, I need some heavy lifting, or
I need you to bring a trolley down.
Have you got some time just to spare a few minutes? And
that's the problem, people don't do that. Classic Kiwi male doesn't do that.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't do that.
No one does that.
Yeah, I don't.
That's why we're bringing it up, and no one does that.
Love it.
Yeah. Oh, we're starting the discussion. I just want to say a bit of a shout out. So we've talked about euthanasia. Bill passed for that.
Oh, yeah.
Kudos DnM. And there's something else that happened. I can't remember what it was.
Relates to us.
We've talked about it, and then boom, action happened. That I'll talk about. We'll find out.
Correlation
later.
there?
Yeah,
Definitely.
Definite correlation. 100% hit rate so far. But yeah, man.
Samoan measles? No.
No. May have been. No, I don't know.
Zach the missing dog? I'm just reading New Zealand headlines.
We did talk
Isn't
about
that great
Nori.
that one of our headlines is like, there's just a dog missing? Like, unfortunate for the
cool.
dog, but that's what makes headlines, yeah.
Is there one about someone asking for help to clean out a garage?
Another headline is an Auckland kebab shop owner got told off for giving away free kebabs to homeless people. So
Got told off for that?
yeah.
Why?
Oh, it'll be health and safety.
Well,
Oh, will it?
No.
yeah.
No, that's weird. I don't know.
No, potentially it would be.
But I don't feel that bad if that's our country's headlines. That's good. No, I don't know what the other one was in.
I got a good example of hoarding, clearing out. A few friends of mine from a rugby team are part of this group called Men's Medicine. It's an amazing group to do with men healing, clearing out the garage, and they're straight up with each other, really straight up. And I was talking to one of them, and they said they will meet, and they said there's a circle called the suicide circle.
Yeah.
And by the end of the session, you say either you're in that or not, straight up, and people go, sweet, yeah, I'm in that circle, I'm thinking about it. And then that's like opening up the garage, going right to the back and blowing all the dust out, because people go, take a deep breath and go, oh, this is real. And everyone around them, no one's judging, and they're like, sweet, cool, you're in the circle now, we know. Let's help clean.
How can we help you?
And that's one of the best examples of...
That's so cool.
Is that at the end or at the start?
At the end of the session they have.
I feel like it should be at the start.
Yeah.
But
when you first meet each other.
Yeah, definitely.
And then when you meet each other, they go on camps and stuff, and
bit of bonding.
And one of the sort of biggest videos I saw was they went on this big bushwalk. There's 50 of them on a bushwalk, but only 49 turned up because one guy took his life earlier that morning.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, garage opened.
That's why we do it.
Yes, and they said, they still went on their walk, and they said, our brother so-and-so isn't here today, but this is how much it means and how big a deal it is. And, that's, people need to do that. They need to, especially the classic Kiwi bloke needs to get, open that garage, let people in, let go of things. And when I mean throw things away, I don't mean forget about them, just let them go. Yep. And you'll get classic hoarders too. They replace and return.
Yeah, well.
They'll go find a newer version, but at least it's a newer version of it.
Yeah.
You know?
And they've known how to throw out the old stuff, so when the new stuff comes in, they know the process.
Bit of recycling, you know?
And I guess that's a bit of progress too, eh? Like
Progress.
you know. So while it's the same sort of thing that you've replaced your Playboy magazines with your rugby league magazines, you know, they filled a different purpose in your life and they're different. So, you know, you're still hoarding essentially magazines, but you know, it's something new. And like you say, you can throw them out now. You know, you've got the strength to do that. So, yeah.
And I think when my grandparents passed away, we gave out and shared all their stuff they had.
Yeah.
You know, they had tools and bits and pieces, and they said, oh, you know, washing machines and you know, bigger picture here, getting very DnM. When you pass away, do you want people to hand out your physical things or your
Emotional
knowledge and emotion and say, Granddad taught me this. Granddad taught me how to say this. He taught me how to deal with life instead of I've got Granddad's lawnmower.
Yeah. Is the typical Kiwi bloke or male? Is he a product of his environment though? Like at what stage?
Oh yeah.
Or is it just the fact that like maybe life's a bit stressful now, and we've got to find. And we've never done it before in the past, and so now we're trying to play some catch up.
I think it's a combination of things. I think mental health definitely, because we know more about it too, but I think it's more prevalent nowadays, poor mental health, and combine that with the fact that we have that culture where we don't talk about it, and she'll be right. So it's probably a combination of factors, I think. And there's more stress nowadays, I think. Yeah.
I think the DnM is a big garage opener.
Oh, wow.
It is. It's the garage remote, and we just beep. It's universal.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's opening every garage around and saying, "Hey, what's in there?"
That's what we aim to do.
we can't guarantee to empty your garage, all of you, but we can definitely open it up because we're starting the discussion, and it's up to you to form those networks and circles and see who your friends are that will come up and help.
Yeah, and give us a like on our Instas and all that sort of stuff because we can't help you if we don't know who you are. It's a lot easier to talk to you if we know who it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, so reach out, man. Reach out, and we'll reach out back.
Yeah, actually, in saying that we're not the cleaners, we'll have a conversation with you. We'll help if we can.
for sure.
Speaking from our personal experiences as having, I feel like my garage is relatively clear now. I think I definitely wasn't probably 2 months ago. I was pretty full up, but I'm feeling a lot better now, personally. So I'm happy to have conversations with people, tell them about my experience and what I did.
Yeah. I guess it's that age-old thing too. It takes time, eh? Like time's a healer, and you know, while it might be painful at the start to clear out some of that stuff that you've got in that garage, over time, man, you'll see the benefit of it. Hopefully, you get to see the back of the wall. You get to fill it with new things that you can use to improve yourself, and you know, hold on to other things that are
A kayak.
more important, like that sup board that you use. I know you got one. You got one?
No.
You've got 3, eh?
No.
Surely.
No
Not even one?
supports. No.
Everyone's got supports.
Yeah, everyone's got to have a supboard. I'd have a supboard if I lived closer to the beach. But I'm also broke. They're expensive, so.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're out there, reach out and we'll have a chat and hopefully help you out.
Yeah.
So, do you guys need help cleaning out your physical garage this weekend?
Physical garage?
Yeah.
I don't even have a garage.
Yeah, I haven't got a garage.
Okay, I'm just asking because I've got a garage and I need to clean it out.
I'm
but
busy
it's-
that weekend, sorry.
It's for
I'm getting a
it's
haircut.
for a child's birthday anyway, so it should be fine. I've got it under control.
I think it's needless to say we would all help each other with our emotional and physical garages.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I might need some help in knowing, but I'm definitely keen to give you a hand, lift that heavy stuff. Cool. So we're ticking over 34 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else about this Garage of the Heart we need to know about?
Mustard
Any other
tea.
trips? What about garages that don't have a very good door? So nowadays we've got the remote control ones, but I remember back in the day you had to turn the old handle, give it a little jimmy,
Yeah,
lift them up.
I'm going to go a step beyond that and say, don't be an empty garage.
Ooh.
Don't be an empty garage. There's people who think the garage just for parking the car. It's not. Have some sustenance, have some character in there, have something different. Have a hobby in there. Have something tucked away that you're proud of. Because sometimes people have empty garages. They don't hold on to anything. So don't go the other end and say, you know, what do you believe? I don't know. What do you got to have some belief system. You got to have some spiritual connection. I think people who say they're atheists, atheists mean you probably don't believe in a God with a title, but I think spiritually you need to believe in something out there. Hold on to that. Put some of that in your garage. Tuck that stuff away. You don't be an empty garage, because I think it's not boring.
Too far the other way.
Too far the other way. No, it's not a pretty picture. It's not useful, not practical.
Need some experience, some
Not
character,
practical.
some life.
And it's a waste of a garage, to be honest.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly.
So fill up your garage and clean it out regularly and fill it back up again is what we're saying, basically, I think.
And with good things too. Don't hold on to the negative or the past too much.
Yeah, find a hobby, put some stuff in it. Yeah, make sure that stuff is multi-purpose, if you're filling it up. Make sure it's got multiple uses.
Yep.
Like I've got a treadmill and I've got weights in there, and while they're good for fitness, they also double great as drying clothes dryers. So find a multi-purpose for some of that stuff you want to hold on to. Like my colourful ladder, I'm going to go back to that, but that was like, for me, that had multiple purposes. It taught me about risk. If you don't put yourself out there, you don't know. It also gave me, like, I took pride in that ladder and constructing it. Even if she could have screwed it up and thrown it away. Like, I showed all my mates and they're like, bro, that's cool as, and that gave me like the warm fuzzies going, yeah, I'm on the right track here. With that sort of thing. So I think you need to find stuff that benefits you. And some of that stuff may be like that colourful message. Like, I would have been heartbroken if she did nothing. Like, if she'd like ignored it, that would have been the worst. Because it'd been like, then at that stage I'm not a person anymore. But yeah,
I think if you're gonna lend anyone or share anything from your garage, make sure it's in perfect working order.
Yep.
Don't give away anything that's broken, because someone's gonna break it even more before they give it back to you.
Yeah, good advice. That was yeah, just shake your hand.
They're shaking hands, yeah.
That's a good point, and shout out to all the people.
Well, actually, I'm going to flip side that, and I'm going to say, do give away some of that stuff that's broken, because you never know that someone might be able to help you fix it.
There's a difference between giving it away and throwing it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
when people borrow it,
okay,
people borrow it.
I'm with you.
Remember, you got to borrow before you share.
Yeah.
So it's your car. Even when you're engaged, it's your car. And then you get married, it's our car.
Yeah.
All right. So there's sort of stuff that's yours to a certain point. But if it's a bit dodgy, if your trust is broken, and you go, here, have my trust, boom, break again. You're like, oh, I can't use that again. And it's broke. It's really broken. I don't know where to get a new one from. I can't afford a new one at the moment. So that's what I'm saying. Don't give away stuff
that you can't afford to lose. Or
you can't afford to lose.
You don't need to be broken.
Yeah. Make sure your trust is in perfect working order. So when you give it away and someone breaks it, it's still perfect working order back in your garage.
I think that's something that you can fix, though, trust, isn't it? It takes a long time to earn again.
Yep.
I think it can be repaired, but I think that one's a two-way street. I think you can't repair that on your own. Like, I think the trust that you give to someone is to an extent one way. So you're putting yourself out there, which I think is why it's so risky to do it. And then when it happens and someone does break your trust, it's harder to repair. But it's also, I guess, like the root cause of how that trust got broken is maybe the thing that needs repairing, not so much the trust. Maybe, I don't know.
I think you got it. There's people in your life too who genuinely help clear your garage out that you probably don't realise. It's the auntie overseas that gives you a random message that says, "How's life?" Don't just go, "Okay."
Yeah.
Actually, it's in the middle of the night. They've suddenly seen there's a random message, or a brother or a cousin or a neighbour that says, "How's it going?" Those are the cleaners. They've come. They've actually, things happen for a reason. Let them know how you're feeling. Don't be afraid to say, you know what, I've got to get rid of some of this shit.
Yeah.
And just say, blah. Just let it out. You'd be surprised that, some people who you think are nosy are actually the garage cleaners. They're here for a reason.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that, man.
Yeah.
Like, And that's the thing we're talking about, and we talked about when we started this, that people don't have a deeper discussion with people about stuff. Like we're talking about you're talking about not talking to anybody about the weather, because it's a real low level discussion. And like you're saying, when they say hello, how are you, don't just go okay, because it's kind of ends that.
Yeah.
You want to say, yeah, I've been better, like I'm going to be okay, but this is what's happening currently. And then, like you say, we're opening the garage. We're getting those cleaners in to give us a hand, and it's no longer a burden to carry it by yourself. You're not struggling to carry that 100 kgs of Playboy magazines out the door. You've got a Sky Television man who just looks at you weirdly and walks out.
The thing with hoarders too, when you say, how's your garage, they go, yeah, it's fine. It seems to them in perfect working order and everything's categorised. But we need to be honest. When someone says, how's it going? You need to say, it's shit. It's absolute shit. I need help to clear it out.
Yeah, definitely. Because when you think about it, like when the garage door's down and you look at it, it looks like it's fine, to be honest. And that's not till you open that garage, you have a look and you're like, oh, yep, okay, we'll get deep in the back there and move out some of that old stuff that you haven't seen for a few months.
I guess if you listen to this, if someone's asking you how things are, don't be too proud to say it's shit. And because people think, they're going to judge me. I should have my shit sorted. I'm X amount of years old. I have this much on my plate. I should have sorted it out by now. But maybe you just haven't, and you just got to be honest with people.
But I reckon too, like, you say that, like, somebody's how you going, you say, oh, shit. You'll probably be surprised to find out that they're probably a little bit shit too sometimes. And or they've been shit at some point, and they'll open up. It's so superficial to go, how are you? And go, I'm good, thanks, good. And then other person says, yeah, I'm good. When not everyone is good. And you'll be surprised to see how many people have done it tough or had bad experiences or had similar experiences and will be there to help or share that or talk to you or be the garage cleaner. So don't be afraid to say it's shit.
Cool. What do you reckon?
Oh, it doesn't matter to wrap
have we unpacked or how is your garage, Manny?
Yeah, true.
I say, I think if you'd asked me 2 to 3 months ago, it would have been pretty shit. Although I would have gone around saying I'm okay. And I even had this thing where someone said to me, oh, how was your holidays? And I just went, what did I say to them? I said something a bit odd. I said something like, don't ask me about in a jovial way. I said, no, just don't ask me about it.
Yeah.
And they were like, kind of a bit like, what? Yeah. But that was because I couldn't bring myself to just say, yeah, good, when it was actually horrendous and horrible and really bad. So while I didn't want to put that on them at that stage because we were just like walking by each other, I don't think it was the right time and place to then open up my garage, if I can continue the metaphor. But now I'm much better. Like I say, I've taken steps to physically clean out the garage, and then also emotionally, I think I've done some stuff to really help. And I'd say I got to a point where I was probably like 95% clear. I don't know if I'd ever get to 100%. I don't know if that's achievable to have 100% clear garage just because of
you got to keep something in there.
Yeah,
and talked about that.
And so now I'm at the point now where I'm filling the garage back up with now what I think is better, healthier, clean stuff. So I'd say I'm doing much better, and I'm doing good.
Excellent,
and I genuinely mean that. I'm not just saying that to then avoid further questioning, but I am feeling much better.
Yeah, we'll do that off here. What about you, Mr. T? How's your garage looking?
Physically, I did something similar to you, Maddie. I shifted all my stuff out of my old garage into a new one, into my parents' garage. Physically, that was quite healing. A lot of the stuff that I was hoarding in there for years, I gave away, and I gave it to my kids and said, have this, have that, and they were like, really? And I said, yeah, I don't know why I didn't give this to you sooner. Have it. I gave away 3 sets of golf clubs to my 3 sons. I don't know why I had 3 sets of golf clubs.
Yeah,
but
that's quite a lot.
That was for that day.
For that, and I said, here you go. And they're like, wow, thank you. My kids love golf. And I'm thinking, why did I hoard this for so long? And now one of my boys is going on golf camp at high school.
Oh,
that's
but
cool.
I'm just thinking, and all the stuff I just gave away. It was healing. It was good because physically there's nothing in that garage that is mine, so I can move on. So physically I've done something similar. Awesome. emotionally, I'm still thinking and working on the things to put in my garage when I finally have my own one. Emotionally, I think I'm rebuilding that garage. I don't think I have a door on it. I don't know if that's good or bad at the moment. I'm just letting things flow in and out of there.
I think it might be good at this stage.
Yeah,
rebuilding, you get perspective.
People can walk in and out as much as they want. Come and pinch some stuff that without me knowing, but slowly reorganising a new garage. Because I think in the past, in my old garage, I sort of didn't make room for my stuff. Everyone else's stuff was in there, and my stuff slowly fell out the door. So now I'm sort of putting my stuff back in the garage and starting from that.
I think that's healthy too. You've got to have a bit of your own space in your garage.
Yeah.
You've got to have a little workshop down the back or a bike rack or whatever it is for you, so that when other people's stuff goes in there, it still feels like your garage and
you're in
able
charge.
to share it.
Yeah.
I think that's healthy.
Yeah, for sure. And you're not going to know how to build that garage to the best of your ability, I reckon, if you don't let people in and help them construct it for you, or with you, I should say. Ultimately you're constructing it, but there's always good ideas out there, and they come from everywhere. Not everyone has all the information, and
And I heard your garage getting blacked out this weekend. Is that emotional or physical blackening?
Yeah. No, that's just a physical change. So we're going to black that out for a good old fashioned.
If his partner hears this podcast, it might be
it might be
both.
It might be a new bedroom where I have to live for the next 3 to 4 months while I sort my new garage out. But no, it's just a physical change just for the young fella. We're going to black it out, turn it into a disco and drop acid and go hard.
Nice.
Whoa, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, well, it's a 4-year-olds party, bro. Everyone's one-upping everybody.
4-year-olds are pretty much on acid anyway.
Yeah.
How many sets of golf clubs in your garage?
There's one.
Oh, there's one.
There's
That's
2
right.
bags though.
Oh.
So I've got a bag which holds my garden stuff. So I was talking about the multiple purposes. So
right.
I've got an old golf bag that holds rakes and spades and all that good stuff, mops that I don't use that often, but have multiple purposes. So my emotional garage is pretty good at the moment. I'm just slowly learning to just prioritize things, I guess. I had not a rough few months, but just some stuff going with a friend, and I was just like, it was really getting on my nerve, to be fair, but I had a chat about it actually, and you like neither of you two?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, thank God.
I've definitely done some shit, so
Don't want to.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. Emotional garage is okay at this point in time. It's not getting any worse, let's put it that way. Hopefully better.
Is that a genuine okay, or is that an okay move?
No, that's a genuine okay. It's like, it's, it's in working order. It's got a door on it. It opens and shuts pretty easy, and nothing I have to throw out yet.
So you think?
Yeah,
What about the 5 meter long shelf in there?
Thanks for dropping that off, by the way.
Oh.
That 5 meter shelf has got purpose. It's about to hold the 72 pairs of shoes that my partner owns, and the other 107 pairs of shoes that my children own between them, I should say. So, that's us. Another episode done and dusted at 48 minutes.
That's good.
Mr. T, you want to throw us out there?
Yeah, so that is episode 7, which is The Hoarding Heart. And so we're going to wrap up there, episode 7, The Hoarding Heart. I'm Mr. T.
I'm Eddie Cole.
I'm Hayden. We are DnM.
Feel free to slide on in.